Okay, obviously coming off a tough loss, we had our meetings yesterday. We had a brief practice, turned the page to Florida Atlantic, a team that has got off to a good start offensively. Statistically, one of the better offenses in the country, led by Brent Dearman, which does a super job. Defensively, they got a lot of guys back. They do a lot of different things, a lot of pressures, odd and even, a lot of multiple things. We're going on the road. Our guys are just ready to regroup, put that one behind us, and move forward. Questions?
Looking at the film, you talked a lot the other night about how Louisville zero coverage bothered you guys. Maybe what should you have done differently when you kind of look at everything?
Yeah, there's a couple things. That we'll move forward and with a little differently. It was a tough blow from the standpoint that we lost, O'Keefe, in the first half right there, and we didn't have Kobe Hudson already going in the game, so that was a little bit of a challenge, and they dared us to do some things, but we'll be better next time in that situation. Probably the biggest take when I look at the thing is just the penalties and kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. And of course, that falls on me as a coach. I got to get corrected because last week I stood up here and said that our penalties were going to get corrected, and it didn't happen. So, we're gonna continue to work on that, and we have to improve.
You just mentioned Ryan O'Keefe and Kobe. What's the status now going into this week?
Yeah, we're hoping we have him. We'll see as the week goes on exactly what that looks like. But I think everybody knows, he's a dynamic playmaker, and when you don't have him, that's a challenge. So we'll see as the week goes on, but we're hopeful.
Coach, we did mention penalties earlier, and kind of the situation with this particular roster is like you have a lot of guys who have obviously, are experienced players, are new on this campus per se. Is that anything that adds challenge when you're getting a lot of not only new faces but transfers coming in? Does that add to getting that right, making that right difficult? Or
I'd say maybe 1 week that would be the first week. You're learning. Second week, I would say no. I'd say that's just part of coaching, and that falls on me and our staff.
How much of a learning experience was a game like that for John Rice, who I know he's a little bit older, but he hasn't played a lot of quarterback?
Yeah, I think it was a very learning experience for him. They presented a lot of different looks, a lot of different challenges. We faced a lot of adversity, and like I'd said before, he hadn't played quarterback in 2 years. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and we're confident he'll learn from it and be better, for it next time. And at the same time, it all works together. We've got to be better around him too.
Saturday, Chip Lindsey said that John Rice played better than what you might have first thought. How so?
Well, I think, anytime you play good, your quarterback probably gets too much credit. When you play bad, he gets too much blame. And I think that's easy to put it on one person. And so there was a lot of good things he did. There were some things around him that broke down that made it look a little different than probably the fan looked. That's what he was talking about.
Coach, we've talked about in the past about how between week 0 and 1 and week 1 and 2 is usually the time when you see the most progression in a team. Yeah, obviously it was a tough loss on Friday, but what were some things that you saw build? How did the team? What are some positives where the team built up between 1 and 2?
I thought our guys played hard. I think that's the biggest takeaway. I thought we played hard. Defensively, we did some really good things. They got loose on us a couple times, but he's a phenomenal player. Special teams, we're going to clean a couple things up that I think will really help. Obviously we got to get better play out of our punter, better play out of our kicker and all that. And but our return game, I think we're close. Just some big plays.
On that next to last drive by the goal line, you decided to go quickly between second and third down.
Yeah.
You're trying to get them off guard, and that was a miscommunication, I take it, on the third down.
Yeah, that was the one that we're down about the 3.5 yard line. We were hoping to kind of catch them off guard a little bit and get a push, and it didn't happen. They knifed in, and the quarterback gave it, so it was a tough one. Like I said, we'll do things differently in that situation. Sometimes when you get a feel for a game, you feel a certain way, and obviously looking back, I'd like to have that one back.
You talked about plays breaking down around John Rice. What are your concerns about what you're seeing on the offensive line after 2 games?
Well, I think that first of all, the offensive line did some good things last week. There's no doubt. That's a new group working together. I'll keep saying it every week. That group is going to be get better, and I think they're a good offensive line.
Looking ahead to the FAU game, when you look at the film, what sort of parallels do you draw, or is it a completely separate challenge with the Nkosi period?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different because it's a different scheme. offensively with what they do, but they've been real successful. I mean, they're ninth in the country in total offense right now, and 12th in the country in third down conversions. They're doing a lot of different things. They're running the ball extremely well, and they're throwing it extremely well. So they play fast, and so it'll be different than it was last week.
Coach Taggart is going to be on the other sideline today. You both have been around for a while. I'm not sure if you've played, but I'm just wondering what's the relationship like there?
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for him. Obviously, he's a very well-known coach, and he's been very successful in a lot of different big-time programs, and he's always going to have his teams ready.
On that note, looking at that staff, their offensive coordinator, Brett Dearman, I know coached with you at Auburn as an analyst in 2013, somewhere in that range. What do you kind of remember about him, and what's that relationship like?
Yeah, hired him out of high school, I think from Viger High School in Mobile, and already knew quite a bit about him, and he was with me, I think, for 2 years, and he's just one of those real smart, intelligent guys. You knew he was going to be successful, and he went to be a head coach at a small school, was really good, went to Kansas, and they almost upset Texas, so he's a real good one. That surprised me at all. He's having success again.
During your coaching career, have you ever had opportunity to pull a quarterback for a series and let another guy go in and let your quarterback
I've done a little bit of everything. I've been coaching 32 years, so I've definitely done a little bit of everything, as far as that goes. Every team situation is different, but yeah, I've done a little bit of everything.
Would John Rice have benefited from that?
We were committed to correcting the things that we had, and obviously we came up short. We had that opportunity down there close, going in, and so at that point now, it was like I told you after the game, I didn't think about changing quarterbacks during that game.
Coach, I know you talked to the players after the game Friday night, and there's a lot of football left in the season. Was there another message you kind of said to them over the last couple of days, and what was the mood and the practices, the meetings over the last couple of days?
Obviously disappointing. The 24-hour rule, you got to move forward. We got a lot of football left. We're capable of being a really good team, and I think our coaches and our players understand that, but you got to figure out a way to learn from it. You got to figure a way to put it in your rearview mirror and just focus on moving forward. So that's really our message.
How did John Rice take everything there? And I'm sure he was disappointed, felt maybe he could have done more. How do you kind of make sure that, because sometimes you say you learn more about guys after a loss than you do after a win.
Yeah, he's a competitor. I mean, he was just disappointed, but he's ready to move forward, put that behind him, and move forward.
Does kicker Daniel Obarski kick better in practice than you're seeing during a game?
Yeah, he had a really good fall camp, and coming off last year against Florida, he helped us win that game, and so it was a little bit unusual. That short one, I know he'd like to have back, and he probably makes that kick 9 out of 10 times.
Are you committed to him going forward?
We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see. We're going to have some competition this week, and we'll see what happens.
I'm not sure how much you paid attention to other games on Saturday, but there were some notable upsets with Appalachian State beating Texas A&M, Marshall beating Notre Dame, Georgia Southern beating Nebraska. All those guys had transfer quarterbacks. So do you think the transfer portal is maybe bringing more parity into college football?
Yeah, there's no doubt that's what you're saying, especially at the quarterback position. College football is a quarterback-oriented position, and so that is a big factor. I think you'll see more and more of that moving forward, more parity and less separation between the so-called big boys and the other guys.
What did you like most about the play of your defense, and how do you think they did with
I think they're playing hard. I mean, that's the big thing. Travis has the guys playing extremely hard. They're trying to play physical. Like I said, he got loose on us a couple times, but I thought overall that Travis had a good plan and everything.
I know the penalties. How do you coach that to prevent? Because they always say you can almost go holding on every play. It seems like some of this stuff is kind of ticky-tack.
We've had some tough calls the first 2 games, but as a coach, you got to look at it like you can't put it in officials. You can't put it on them. I'm like, we got to be clean, and so that's really what our message is to our players. Like, we got to coach them exactly what a penalty is, what it's not. I mean, there was a couple of the dead ball penalties. That's completely coaching. Okay, now the hold is a hold, not a hold. I mean, that's a different deal. But you got to coach it. But the unsportsmanlike, I mean, that's completely on me and our staff.
With the game this weekend, although it is in Boca Raton, it's kind of close, but it is a road game. Is there a different approach that you kind of tell the guys with it? It is a road game, but it's not really that far away. Is there a different way you kind of approach it?
I mean, we're on the road, so we'll see. We got to work the crowd noise and everything that goes with it. At home the defense can't hear. On the road the offense. So you gotta prepare for that, and that's what we'll do.
Looking at FAU, what stands out maybe about them offensively and defensively?
Yeah, offensively, I think they can run the football effectively. That's what they've shown, and they've been very good at throwing the football. Anytime you can do both, that presents challenges to defenses, and they've done that so far. They're going to play fast, so I'm impressed with their players.
Chip mentioned communication is a thing you'd like to see the offensive line work on. So considering there will be a road crowd and maybe that lack of hearing type of deal, what sort of things do you guys work on throughout the week to prepare those guys in particular?
Yeah, really it's the crowd noise, it's the cadence, it's the checks and everything that goes with a normal deal. When you're playing at home, you can actually hear each other, so that's the challenge.
Coach, with the offensive line, you talk about protection, but there's another gentleman I noticed in Friday's games a bit more in protection than he may have been in the past with the squad. That would be Isaiah Bowser.
Yeah.
Showing that off, is that kind of add to his tool set that makes him look like an NFL running back?
Yeah, Isaiah's a very good pass protector. That's one of his strengths. And like I said, they were playing some zero coverage. Sometimes they were playing man free, bringing an extra guy. So he was real vital. He did a lot of protecting.
Also, kind of a fullback for John Rice sometimes, yeah.
A what?
Kind of a fullback for John Rice as well in those running plays too, yeah.
I mean, or a big tailback.
Right.
Although I know Johnny obviously was averaging a lot of yards per carry, but the fact that you needed Bowser, I assume he's maybe better in protection. Is that maybe why he saw the bulk of those reps, especially in the second half?
Yeah, in the second half specifically, especially if there's a chance you got to get in a 2-minute situation, stuff like that. So there's certain things that we'll do with different backs and all that. But Johnny, he's had 2 really strong weeks, and is doing really well for us right now.
So far, it looks like John Rice has developed chemistry with Javon Baker, but what other wide receivers do you need to see step up and give him more options?
Griffin is a guy that I feel like is fixing to take that next step. And then Xavier, it was really his first, real rodeo. He was playing college football, and he's got a chance to be really special, I think. So just the experience of getting those guys out there and, getting better each week. I think those 2 guys will have a chance to really help.
We're talking about Jason Johnson on the other side of the linebacker. He's a transfer. He was around the ball a lot, made a lot of tackles. And when those FCS guys kind of like last year with playing well.
When we recruited him, you could turn the film on and you could tell like he's got something to him. And then, when he gets there, I really like his personality. He's kind of a quiet guy, but he's really listening. You could tell, and he's playing with great physicality right now. And he's doing a good job, not just on defense. He's playing special teams lights out right now too. So you'll see him, I think, get better and better. Each week he's playing a high level right now.
What's the learning curve like moving from that level of football to?
I think he's going to talk to y'all here in just a minute, so he'd probably be better to answer that than me.
There should be, going 3 hours away. Last time UCF played FAU in 2019, it was, might have been a UCF majority crowd. What do you want to see from UCF fans down in Boca on Saturday night?
Well, it'd be great. I'm disappointed for them. They did such a super job, helping us try to win the game, and we couldn't get it done for them. So, we wanted to see them, loud and strong there, and do a better job for them.
That's great.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.